track. Realized I didn't know my way back down it. It went down a beaten track. I realized I didn't know my way back down it.
I was just curious if you wanted to peel off a few 70s bands that you kind of really dig, or
sure, man.
You want to just mention and why?
Well, as far as it goes, like I absolutely adore pretty much most things that Steve Marriott does. So Humble Pie is one of those bands that that was when I found that. Yeah, that made sense why AC/DC became a thing.
Yeah.
Because most people don't put those two things together, but Harry Vander and George Young would have seen the Small Faces when they were in the Easy Beats overseas, and probably even mates with Steve But then, you know, late 60s, early 70s was Humble Pie, and they were that first, like, really, like, completely swung rock and roll band, but hard-hitting staccato
and
riffs.
heavy shit too, man.
Yeah, like, you know, like the Fillmore record is, I'd get buried with that one. It's all live records for me. It's live at the Fillmore, you know, Humble Pie, live at the Fillmore. It's all Fillmore. It's like Allman Brothers and then Band of Gypsies, which is my #1 record of all time. Like Machine Gun's my favourite piece of music that's ever been created. You know, so it's, you know, that's just, nothing will change that, I don't think, you know.
I'm with you.
So, but yeah, as far as that goes, Free is another band. Like Paul Rodgers is a massive influence on the vocal style of things.
Yep.
I really love Paul Kossoff's approach to the guitar, the vibrato thing that he does.
Yeah.
I've always loved that. And Steve and Paul both have that vocal frontage. So it's like taking the pieces of what a 6'2" bloke can do,
Mate.
You know, because no, they always, you know, it's not often that you know, like they're all sort of kind of smaller fellas, like even
Small,
Bond,
he's tiny, man.
you know, like they're all like pocket rockets with
Yep.
like pipes
Yep.
for days. It's not normally the lanky fella that, even though Hendrix looks lanky, he was only 5'10", so it's sort of like, you know, like there's some things you can't do with longer vocal cords. You know? But you take bits and pieces and that. And as far as 70s bands go, I mean, the Australian stuff was a phenomenally profound, sort of like Masters Apprentices.
Yep.
Those first 2 records, Choice Cuts and A Toast to Panama Red. You know, they're the best of that kind on the planet. No one went close to those. And
Yep.
I'm not being biased, but as an Australian, but those 2. And then all the Coloured Balls stuff, Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs.
Yep.
All of that stuff, and we stay pretty true and we guard that. We guard the Australian rock moniker.
Damn
You
right.
know, because, you know, I think Angry Anderson said it, nobody attacks guitars like Australians. And having toured around a fair bit overseas, that's absolutely the case.
Yep.
We don't do it the same. Maybe it's the heat, maybe it's the water, I don't know. But yeah, I'm quite touchy when it comes down to bands being like, yeah, Aussie rock. It's like, you kind of have to be a bit of a ruffian, man.
Yeah.
Like you got to come from you got to be a bit of a scrapper.
Yep.
You know, you can't really, you know, there's no, privilege isn't part of this. You know,
Damn right,
like,
man.
you know, it's a, you know, that what a lot of individuals might agree or disagree with, but it's like, you know, like you look at Rose Tattoo and the way that the world looks at them. It's like, you know, I think James Young actually put it perfectly. Like they're more of a street gang than a rock and roll band.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And then, you know, the Masters boys came out of Adelaide. They were all out of northern suburbs where I'm from. Cold Chisel, same place. Angels, same place.
Yep.
So that's where I'm from, and
Yep.
so it's, you know, hard rock that's the northern suburbs of Adelaide, I guess. You know.
What about Buffalo, Dave Tice?
Buffalo, oh, Dave Tice, yeah, absolutely, man. I love that. The volcanic rock was a game changer for us as well. You know, obviously being Sydney based, there's that many that I could find. You know, Madder Lake,
Yeah.
as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that 12-pound Toothbrush record and Blue Side, you can see a little bit of a
Chain.
chain, absolutely. Yeah, Matt Taylor for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think the Australian side of things is profoundly important to remember.
Highly underrated.
Oh, it is. And, you know, how far it is for us to have to travel to go to Europe. I just think
How
about
far it
much-
is to have to travel in your own country to get from one capital
That's
city
it.
to the next.
And those fellas back then, like it was even more difficult.
Yeah.
Like in some cases, there was probably boats and stuff that they were jumping on,
Yeah.
especially in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
60s.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, like,
Yeah.
you know, if that was the case. I know, you know, even though like the long haul flight thing probably wasn't as as easy as it is now. So, and that's the thing, like rock and roll, it's like we're, you know, I think the most important thing about it is you never forget the reason why you started doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just music, it's rock and roll. That's different.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. That's a way of being, it's a way of life, you know. It's not just like having a sing song.
Certainly not.
And that's when we've lived exactly that, and that's why I really guard that Australian rock and roll thing. It's like it's a journeyman's situation.
Yeah.
You know, like it's you know, it's the struggle, it's the I guess, you know, the desolation, you know, that you can feel in this country. You know,
Yep.
the amount of, you know, 12-hour drives for $50 we've done, you know, and all that, and we wouldn't change a second of it, because that's what shapes the sound ultimately.
100%.
You know, and a lot of bands don't even drive themselves these days.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's an important thing that if you want to be in a rock band, you got to get those calluses on your bum cheeks, man. You know, like you got to sit in those vans and you got to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's part of us.
But we get pretty rough end of the stick in that regard. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
for
that's
sure.
you go to Europe,
Yeah.
you know, and you spend 12 hours getting from one place to the next. You're pretty much almost halfway across the fucking continent.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
How many countries have you gone through? Like,
Yeah, that's
here,
it.
it's a whole different.
I think
ballgame,
we
right?
figured out, like the tour last year, we did 9 countries in the space that it would take to drive from Melbourne to Queensland. I was like, that's 9 countries.
I don't
What the
think
hell?
people really fathom that, you know.
You know?
I understand that.
I mean, like that would be 3. We'd do 3 shows. You know, like Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane.
Yeah.
And then that's 3 gigs and 5,000 kilometres.
Yep.
And then, you know,
Because the other problem we've got in this country is the lack of population compared to the, you know, other
Yeah, that's
places.
it.
So, you know, you just the odds are stacked against us on every level.
but then you look at the recent AC/DC tour.
Yeah.
And 2 packed MCGs, right?
Yeah, they're there.
And I say this to everybody out there right now: where the fuck are you? If you're going to that and you like rock and roll, it's like, oh no, I'm tired after work. Oh, whatever. I don't give a shit. It's like, you know, you keep them in a stadium, you know.
Yeah,
But there's you know, are we all there just to be seen there, or do you actually like rock music? You know, and I saw that many people under the age of 30 there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's and if you did the numbers on that, like I tell you,
I did see someone write that I think they made something like $135 million from that tour. And I don't know if that includes the merch either.
nah, probably not.
I can only imagine, like I've heard some numbers when I had my company back in the day and meeting some guys that were doing AC/DC's merch for even like the Black Ice tour and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Just the numbers that they were talking is just staggering shit.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely, you know, I never take a thing away from that band, but it's more of like, you know, if the people were still behind it, then the bands would be pushing harder to give them what they're going out to see, as opposed to.
Well, I think
know.
yeah, it's a cultural thing too, right? I think a lot of in Australia there's this thing called the cultural cringe. It's always
Yeah.
been a thing where it's like whatever we have that comes from here isn't as good as what comes from overseas.
Yeah,
And also, if you come from here and you go and you make it overseas and you come back, then you get a little bit of
oh,
credibility.
our boys, our
Right.
girls,
You know, it's always been like that. And
So, oh, you did
and then
that.
you're talking, as you said, like there's the actual support from the fucking industry itself and the radio stations and all of the rest of it, who just simply do not support it in the way that it needs to be to put it into the, like, or put it out there in a way and have it compete. Like they'll play Foo Fighters 50 million times on Triple M, but they're not playing fucking Willie J's 636s or you guys or anyone else.
That's it.
And so yeah, it's this mindset thing, and like, and I don't know how you stop doing that if the industry itself isn't willing to sort of get behind the artists that are here in a meaningful way. Like, it's all tokenism as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
or
it
at
would
least,
float itself.
Yeah.
It would float itself.
Dude, there's
Like,
so many good bands come from this country now. It's undeniable. It's ridiculous.
If they wanted an easy job, they could. I mean, the bands will do the work.
Yeah.
We'll all be knocking on the door, and they just go, "Oh, cool, no worries."
Yeah.
You know, they have a look at how many shows instead of your likes on Instagram and Facebook. They just go, "Oh, they're selling gigs out. I guess we'll chuck them on the radio."
Yeah.
You know,
It'd be a
good
good start.
And the thing is, it's you know, that would just elevate the, you know, instead of having to go to Europe and to play enough shows to keep up with the rest of the world, because we're playing, training with what weight's on.
Yeah.
In a year, the most amount of shows that you can probably pull off in Australia is maybe about 60, unless you have radio, like national radio.
Yeah.
And then you can probably do all the regional stuff as well. You know, I mean, there are some bands out there playing those amount of shows, but you've got to. I can absolutely guarantee you, it's not 100% original stuff that's getting them those gigs.
Yeah.
You know, they've got to pander to what is.
Especially in the country areas.
You know, that's the thing. You got to be able to play K-San if someone yells out. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that's those things. Like the amount of times I got told that when I was young too. Like, you know, like when I was like in my late teens, early 20s. So have you thought about starting a cover band, mate? Make a bit of money on the side?
Yep.
It's like, yeah, but I've got to go spend time learning that. I could just be writing my own shit.
Well, it's kind of sacrilege to the original songwriting musician,
Yeah.
right? Like,
It's like, that's like going to an
what about all
artist.
these fucking tribute bands now? Like, literally, like not just cover bands, but bands that emulate an entire band and what it does, and dress up like them and sound just like them, and
Make a living.
Fucking huge.
They make a
huge,
living.
man.
They make good livings. They're probably
They
all
do.
driving Beamers, mate.
They do.
And
That's right. That speaks volumes, I guess, about people too.
I think so. I mean, honestly,
public.
it'd be the same as going up to like Nick Keller who's doing oil paintings and and whatever. It's like, you're not making much, mate. You thought about painting fences, mate? Paint a couple of houses on the side. You're bloody good at cutting it in, wouldn't you? It's like, fuck, no. Like, Jesus. There's other thing. There is,
Too true, man.
I think there's
Well, I'd like to see someone do a child tribute band.
Oh,
Love to see that.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't, but I'd also just like to see them try.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah, well, man,
about.
there's definitely been messages that have come from, I think there's some emails and messages from Greece a few times. People are like, we're playing one of your songs live. Can you send us the lyrics because we can't figure them out?
No shit.
And I'm like, no, I'm not sending you the words,
Work
man.
it out, buddy.
It's a metaphor. It's for me. It's for you to interpret and for me to know.
There's a worm in my head now, baby, and it ain't living so that's right. I'm a spirit well in madness.
how do you go about sort of writing lyrics and
Just comes out.
yeah? Do you
There's
write
no-
it to them like? The way that you guys construct the songs and stuff. Like, I'm curious sort of how they all come about. So do the lyrics sort of come at the end, in between?
Yeah, well,
Do you start with lyrics?
I think the early stuff there's a lot of jams, and I would kind of just freestyle, like over.
Yep.
I'd be like, that's that. There we go. There's a melody in there. I'll sing that, and then I've always got some form of poem or poetic kind of wording going through me.
Yep.
At all stages. I've got books and books of the stuff, so it's pretty easy for me just to reach in and be like, well, this is what's been going on, you know. It's generally about situations that I'm going through. I like singing about feelings because everyone has them.
Yeah.
I don't like singing about politics. I never have, never do that stuff. I just don't think that that's, you know, like, somebody can't disagree with sadness, like you know, or you know, anything like that. I mean, you know, you can have your high vibrational philosophers go, it's all right, you're just observing the feelings, man. You know, like, and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, but not everyone's Alan Watts, bro. You know, so but everyone's got feelings, and I'll sing about that. You know, and I don't care. Like, you could be the toughest bloke in the whole entire world. It's like the day you see your first kid, you know, you'd have to be literally pathological not to shed a tear or be proud as hell, you know. Like, so I just don't think that there's that's for me what music and communicating is. It's the feeling, it's the passion, it's all those bits and pieces. And, you know, I sing about things that people have done to me, things that I've done that I'm not proud of, and all those things, and they just come out in the jams, and that's kind of where it sort of started. Now I write melodies first before even a guitar goes near it. It's melodies and words.
How?
In the car, in the shower.
Yeah, just humming. Like,
Yeah,
singing along?
I'm an incessant singer.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that I did because I had to originally. And then people told me that they very much liked what I was doing. So I decided that I probably should put some effort into that. Singing wasn't something that I ever thought that I would do. Every band I've ever started, I've tried to find a singer, and every band I've ever been in, I've fronted it. I've never just played guitar in a band. I've always ended up being that cat.
I mean, that's a
weird.
whole nother level of musicianship there, man. Like, playing guitar and singing at the same time and doing what you do. Like,
Yeah, I think I'd maybe take it for granted sometimes,
Dude.
and get really frustrated with myself that you know, there's always going to be a slip between the two. Like, it's they when they land, but you know, it's you know, there's the perfection element is it doesn't really exist there, especially in a call and response blues fashion. You know, the licks are different.
Yeah.
You know, stuff we played today, like, you know, like I probably won't ever play them the same like that. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll play those licks again. But it's like, I'll play this lick at the moment, and then I'll find another one and slot that in there, and it's sort of a, you know. But I guess I'd never thought about it. It was, my musical journey wasn't the same as everybody else's, I think. You know, like, no high school bands.
I was wondering that.
You know,
I was
like,
wondering if you had any.
I
high school
wasn't
bands and stuff.
allowed to do music.
Really?
Like, you know, it was, I spoke to the music teacher, and you know, he's like, oh, can you read music? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, there's no reason for you to start music in year 10. Like, everyone can
What?
do this. And I'm like, but I play guitar. Like, I don't do my homework ever. Like, I don't do my assignments. I don't do anything. I play my guitar. And the reason why I could do that is because my sport allowed me to do that. is because I knew that I would pass year 12 if I represented the state in something, which I did. So I got a year 12, I got a certificate of education, and I didn't do anything. Like I got full marks in automotive and full marks in physical education. So I was playing with engines and running fast, and they're like, here you go, that's you passed year 12. I'm
Wow.
like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't at all. You know, and but I was playing guitar, doing stuff I wanted to do, like go to training, come home, play guitar until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, get up, sleep through school, basically.
What was your first guitar?
My first guitar was an SG.
Yeah.
An Epiphone SG. For obvious
we had one
reasons.
in the music room at school. It's an Epiphone SG.
Yeah, it was one of those G310s with the Batwing cover, or Batwing pickguard.
Yep.
And it's a funny story because Mum, I had a very small amount of money that my great nana had left me before she passed away. Like I was only 3 when, you know, it was about $1,000 or something like that. It wasn't a lot of money. And Mum's like, oh, we'll open up your term deposit so you can go buy a car if you like. And back then you could literally buy a car for $300. It was perfectly fine.
Yep.
And you know, and all the cars I was looking at, you know, were a lot faster than what Mum would probably have liked. But anyway, and they were probably a bit more expensive than $1,000. But to cut a long story short, I went and bought a guitar and an amp instead of buying a car.
Fuck yeah.
And that was my choice. So I got a little Fender Frontman and a G310 from a music shop that ended up working in. So the guy that sold me the guitar and amp ended up hiring me later in my life. So
Unreal,
it's
man.
funny, and I didn't know how to tune that guitar. I had no idea how to tune a guitar for probably the first year.
Wow.
And I remember going into Alan's Music, which I ended up working in also. And I remember my future boss, Jim, actually tuned my guitar for me because I took it in. I got Mum to take it into the city. Then I caught the bus into the city to pick the guitar up from her work because I was kind of embarrassed about taking it to school. And they're like, oh, you got a guitar? And I really couldn't do anything with it. So I got him to tune it for me.
Yep.
And it turns out that I'd tuned it to a G chord.
Huh.
So it was essentially an open G. And I'd been playing all these AC/DC riffs and trying to do everything in open G. So, which I don't play in anymore, but I got quite good at it. I just do this G chord, like the standard G chord. And I was like, oh, and just Keith Richards and all that sort of stuff, like the 5-string, you know, Rycuda thing. And so there's a lot of that. And I remember, Jimmy tuned my guitar for me in E, and I went home and I had no idea what to do with it. I was like, what do I do with this? Like, and I got home and was like, it was literally a month where I was like I'd pick it up and try and play, and I had no idea what was going on, and there was nobody I could ask, or
What?
like there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't anything, so I just had to figure it out. And then maybe I think the berry dropped with a bit of like a few tabs. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was the metal tabs that helped me learn guitar, because most of them were not too bad.
Yep.
It was all the, you know, it was like if you go and try and learn a Jeff Buckley song or something, somebody's trying to be a smart ass and it's just all bar chords, and it's like, no, it's not. That's actually open G, believe it or not. So, you know, it's like, you know, it's all that sort of stuff. But yeah. It's
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, let's have a chat about Soul Murder.
Soul Murder, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit of a long-winded process, that one.
Yep.
We recorded that pretty much as soon as we got home from the road, like from Europe in the end of 2018, at Head Gap Studios, which unfortunately is burnt down now.
Right. Yeah, okay. I remember hearing about that.
We did that with Now Anzai, who we'd been working with a fair bit. You know, he learnt to engineer in Japan when it was a white coat job.
Yep.
You know, like we're talking Scotch tape and scissors and splicing tape. So yet again, self-titled Blue Side. Well, actually, Blue Side wasn't a tape situation. We actually did that record on an extremely low budget of $0. A mate of ours actually helped. We recorded that one in his house.
What?
Yeah.
Dude.
out in Ballarat. Yeah, so hope he's still got the stems for that, because there's some cool parts that I'd like to have a listen to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was that one, and then yeah, so that was like, yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, Soul Murder was a 2-inch tape machine. Now that machine is now rubble, ash, because obviously the fire. But that was a Studer as well, but very clean one. It's not like Paul Mabry's Studer that's nice and gritty and grubby, just like we are.
So what is the? I know the answer to this, but I'm listening to a bunch of dudes. But why tape? Why still?
I think
tape?
it was just the nostalgic element of it, of us wanting to feel and do the same thing as all of the bands and artists that made us want to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was probably it.
Yeah.
Like, we just wanted to experience, what that was like. I mean, obviously,
is there any digital involved in the process? Like, I know some guys will
purely
record
just
it
the
and
bounce.
run it through digital, and then run it through a tape machine, and then stuff
Oh,
like that.
no, it was all every time we've recorded the tape, it was all directly live onto the tape, and it was pretty well mixed as on the fly.
Dude.
And then we bounce that into Pro Tools.
Right.
For the mastering process and whatever, because tape mastering and sending rolls, like, because you can't afford the rolls anymore. It's like a hire situation. They'll have like a 2-inch roll of Ampex, and you hire them for like $400 a day or some shit, like, or whatever. Or no, maybe it's less, but you hire them from the guy that and you just record over them, and whatever. So. But yeah, now bounced that, and then he mastered it as well. And we did a bit of mixing at Rolling Stock Studios, where it was very minimal stuff that we were doing, like just kind of what would happen in the mastering process. It's just I'd go in there and be like, oh, can we bring the levels up? Do a bit of levels stuff, and in tools.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a hard mix, but we had all these big plans for that record. There was like supposed to be harmonies, Hammond. There was supposed to be overdubs on guitars. There was so much stuff that we recorded it for that.
Right.
Like there's spots that I still hear all of those things in. Maybe one day I'll go back over them and do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was 2018. We did that. 2019, we were touring pretty hard. I think we did about 80, 90 shows that year, which is a lot for an Australian band, I guess.
Yep. Considering
if you spend half the year in Australia, you just can't play that much. But most of that was Europe, and it was a heap of Rose Tattoo shows that year as well.
Yep. Remember those.
And I was like, I will get that finished, and I was hoping to have it out at the start of 2020. And we put out Free and Humble as a single just before the Uncle Acid tour in 2019,
right.
And then COVID hit and we couldn't finish the record.
Wow.
We could mix it, but there was absolutely no reason for us to finish it. In the sense of,
what are you going to do with it?
Well, yeah, I mean, we could send it to Europe and get it printed.
Are we ever going to play music ever again?
It's like,
It was a serious concern at the time.
Yeah, well, that's it. We didn't know. So, and I was pretty damn concerned on having to pay off the exuberant European tour fee debt that I had over my head too, which happens to me every time. So I went and dug graves to pay off, which I paid off single-handedly by myself. It was about, $15K. Luckily, a mate of ours was happy to front that one for us because, the recording process cost so much, getting around and doing all that. It was, and all of us were working either bar jobs or barista jobs or,
Yep.
I mean, for me, it was labour always.
Yeah.
I was always like blue collar as they get. Did a little bit of bar work, but only because I was sort of a girlfriend at the time was managing a bar, so I get to hang out with her a bit more. So I'll go and pull some beers at Cherry.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, no worries. It was the only thing I hadn't done in that place in AC/DC Lane was pull beers. So I thought I may as well. So
I kind of miss that shitty old place.
oh,
Man.
dude, that's a massive part of our sort of thing. There's, it was. I think, having said that, we've been very fortunate in there is never a place for us anywhere, like and James gave us that stage. I think we played more original shows there than anybody. Like actual booked original shows outside of residencies. I think we did almost 40 gigs there in 5 years or something like that. And, it was like, and then that became sort of the family and like that we sort of worked in and same as the European sort of stoner doom psych world. Yeah. It's where rock bands go because, the mainstream doesn't want us, not heavy enough for the metal world.
Yeah.
So that's where you sort of find your sort of thing. Same as we didn't really have a scene in Melbourne when we started, but it turns out we sort of kind of became that, and then plenty of bands they sprung up because that was what was cool at the time, I guess. And there was a lot of good bands coming out that time as well to Australia, so. We made a scene of it, and it was just the choice of place just happened to be Cherry. It was like us and Horse Hunter and stuff like that. It was Watchtower as well, another great band, and then other bands followed down the track. It was like your Holy Serpents and and stuff like that, and they came a bit later on, and all that, and a scene sort of started to build. Around that because people were saying, there's 300 or 400 people at one of our shows, and they're like, oh shit, well then, it makes perfect sense why bands start because of those things, and it would make sense to me. I'd be like, oh, there's people getting into this. Oh, good. Well, I get into this. I'll start a band. Yeah. That's what a scene is. That's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was heaps of good stuff going on, and COVID, as getting back to that, was just pulled the rug out, and lots of guys were like, oh, maybe not going to do that kind of music. They start country bands.
Yep.
Starting cool bands, as I call them. The cool stuff. The stuff that all the cool kids like.
Yep.
But hey, if it gets them playing and that's what they want to do, man, then shit.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, it was a wild time, and I said a lot of bands didn't really know whether they were ever going to play it on a stage again. I remember the first time we played a show after 2 years, and just kind of the feeling of that, it's just pretty surreal. But god damn it.
Well, that's it. I mean, that 2 year period, all of a sudden, it turned into 2022.
Yeah,
and then that's pretty much about the time the record Soul Murder came out. It was. There was a good 5 years between the recording and the release. The individuals overseas who will probably watch this interview were like, hurry up kind of stuff. And I'm like, if only you knew.
Yeah.
If only you knew what it was like to be locked down as hard as us. How about you just back off for a sec?
Dude, it was mental. It was utterly mental.
I think I said it to a few individuals in Europe last year. They're like, you haven't been here for 5 years. It's like, yeah, well, we couldn't leave for 2 of them. And then it took me ages to save up enough beans to do it again.
Yeah.
So, it's, there's no free rides in this. We paid for everything ourselves. So it's and that's something I'm very proud of. We've managed to get it done.
Yeah.
So it's we've taken note after everybody's impatience, and we believe, and I take the impatience as a massive compliment of them just wanting more from us.
Yep.
We've written and recorded a record in the space of like the last 4.5, 5 months. So
awesome, man.
So, and that's ready to go to the next level. So, you know, that'll definitely be out the start of next year, and
Sick.
Then another European tour, and then I'll come back and I'll do another record and rinse and repeat until someone either takes me out and I can't do it, or as long as I've got a voice, I'm gonna make records. Even if I come off my bike and break my hands and legs, I'll be still singing, don't worry.
Baby
Mathias,
Dan,
how you going?
very well, sir.
Back here again.
Indeed.
So, we are about to print some of your pre-order merch. And yeah, we're gonna go through each of the different garments. I'm actually gonna print them off for the first time so everybody can check out what we got on offer.
He's a talented man. He's an excellent artist. He's a tattoo artist. He's got a dirty needle embroidery. Makes like those nudie suits, those country and western suits, and all those kind of things. And oh my god, that looks so good.
Next one.
What's the red light do? Is that dry it?
That is a dryer. Yep.
Yeah.
That heats each layer as it goes through. Whoa. Go. It's the yellow.
Have to excuse all my oohing and ahhing.
Just to bring it out. That'll just make it pop. That's the orange.
Yeah, it's all about getting ourselves ready for it, which obviously requires playing as many shows here as we can. Oh, that looks...
Hey?
Oh my god.
Coming up good. Still 2 to go.
Oh.
Sort of awesome, man.
Get locked into routines here that sort of aren't really conducive to the lifestyle that we live. So it's good to break it up.
Got the pink.
Dude. I think these are possibly the best shirts that we've ever had.
Well,
by a long way.
Hopefully we can shift a few for you guys.
I know they're good because
yeah,
I want to wear them myself, but there's rules. You can't wear your own band merch, can you?
It is the unwritten rule, mate.
You can sort of. You can get away with it. I've seen plenty of people do it. I just don't know if I could get away with it.
It's a tough gig. It's ballsy. All right, here we go. So
that's it.
That's it.
Oh my god. That is...
I'm up sick. All right. There you have it, sir.
I'm extremely impressed.
Fantastic. Cool. So that's a standard tee. And
oh, it's toaster.
All right. Last couple in. Color, but no, it's a color. See.
Really like that charcoal sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Reminds me of literally being a kid. That type of t-shirt.
Yep. So we got that one on offer.
I think I feel as though if more people knew how this process happened, that would increase the likelihood of them wanting.
I think so.
Like, oh, this is a hand screen t-shirt.
Yep. That's what I love about it.
And like oh man.
There's the long sleeve. Sleeves.
See, all you motorcyclists out there, that's the one you want. Especially coming into winter.
Badass.
Make your sleeves look sexy.
And
yeah.
That's a process within itself. Getting it ready to actually screen print. I have filmed me setting it up and getting everything else ready as well, because that's a whole nother
process, yeah.
Like the registration of all the colours and, you know. So there we go, the baseball tee.
So good.
Word has it you might be getting some ink done by him before you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, he's got a couple of ideas that apparently I can't get on the plane without. So
deal.
I'll be
go down and see him, pay him a visit.
There'll definitely be some. Oh, look at that
singlet, men's singlet.
You know, making them snippable isn't a bad maneuver.
Speaking of snippable, so that's the final one, which is the men's tank. This is like an XL. They didn't have any smalls in stock at the moment, but yeah. So we got the faded tank, and that's all the garments. So yeah, if anyone wants to grab one, go to volumedealer.net, pick one up. These are all pre-orders. Yeah, we're trying to get some money for you guys to get to Europe.
Absolutely, man. We'll obviously we'll post it up all over our socials and and get some links in all of the descriptions and make sure that people can get access to these, because I reckon there'll be plenty of people overseas that'll want one. So.
Sick.
Done deal.
Thanks so much for that.
Absolute pleasure,
Appreciate
bro.
it.